read comment section.
Gonna fade that out. Welcome to the Ben and Jay Show.
Welcome, guys. That was beautiful. Sidewalk Prophets. It's an amazing, talented group.
The comment section is the name of the song. Ben chose that song to actually play first. In light of everything that's been accumulating for 2021, 2020 into 2021, unfortunately, Ben felt as though that song needed to be played. And funny enough, I seen that song not too long ago, so it was only right and fitting that we actually do play that song. So we just want to say welcome. Before anything, we want to go ahead and pay these bills by saying this webinar is made possible by Access Services. Access Services is a nonprofit serving 11 counties in Eastern Pennsylvania with a mission to create better ways for those with special needs. They've been doing it for 44 years, and they're only increasing their services and expanding their services as they bend to fit the needs of those in Eastern Pennsylvania. So once again, we want to say welcome back. It's been a couple of days into 2021, and 2020 was an amazing year for
Absolutely,
us,
Jamal. It really was.
Together and individually, and hopefully for you guys as well. But we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of footwork to do. We got a lot of things that we need to get on the grind and start doing. And it starts here. So let's get rolling on this show. So Ben, let's go into raffling for tonight.
You forgot to say this webinar is made possible by Access Services. Access Services is a nonprofit serving 11 counties in Eastern Pennsylvania with the mission to create better ways of serving people with special needs. They have been doing it for 44 years and only expanding their services as they benefit the needs of those in Eastern Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Jamel, do the raffle. I did your part tonight.
Okay, so
the
raffle, what are we doing? Because you're the man with all the special ones.
Roadhouse. Woo!
Texas Roadhouse. So that's an amazing gift. Especially since it's half and half capacity right now.
It's actually dinner for two, so you can bring like your date or if you have a husband, whatever.
So it's a dinner for two. You can call in, get it to go, bring it home, have a little date inside the crib. I mean, it's
steak,
something.
The cinnamon rolls are the best.
There you go. So we'll be giving that away at the end of the show. So stay tuned. So everybody that basically registered for the contest is eligible for this prize. So stay tuned as we pick the prize at the end of the show, and we'll get your information and send that right off to you via the mail. So Ben, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? So those new individuals.
Most of you have heard me before. I have autism. I was diagnosed at the age of 2, and doctors thought I wasn't going to be able to talk. I went through speech therapy, and my mom thought I had a hearing issue, and that's when the diagnosis of autism came in. So a child should only know 200 words, but I only knew 20. The speech therapist taught me how to talk. And now today I just talk, and there's no off button on me. I've been on the Ellen Show, carried the Super Bowl trophy for the Eagles, and I have accomplished so many things that God is really amazing, and God has been amazing. He's been guiding me to the right people at the right time. And I just am so blessed to have him in my life as a friend.
Definitely. So Ben went into a little bit of his fantastic story. I'm just going to tell you as much as my story as I can. It's not as robust as Ben's, but it's a little something. My name is Jamil Owens. I am the other half of the Ben and Jay Show, co-host to Ben. And let's just go a little bit in the past. Ben, came up to me in the very beginning of COVID and wanted to start a show basically to give back to the community, to let those on the autism spectrum, those on the special needs spectrum, people in general, that he hasn't forgot about them, that we shouldn't forget about each other, that we should love on each other through this, more so now than ever. And he asked me to actually join him. Now, rewind back to the awesome show. Basically, I made this platform to give those individuals, especially fathers, a space to actually talk to voice their opinions, their thoughts, their concerns, their emotions, their depressions, their angers, everything they're feeling about autism, their child being diagnosed on the spectrum, but also too for the mothers, professionals to actually be able to speak out on more of a grassroots type of campaign show, geared more towards fathers, but it's basically for everybody. You know, those simple blue collar workers, that guy, that lady who's tackling autism and feels like they're alone. I was in that position. I'm still studying my son. I'm still learning the curve about autism and what it means to actually be on the spectrum. So I continue to love on others by feeding them information, by feeding them raw emotion, to let them know that they are not alone. Ben and his father, Glenn, happened to be the first guest that was on my show. And ever since then, we built a bond. And that's when I actually got the phone call and was like, you know what? There's no better time than now. I was furloughed from my job. So I said, yo, I feel the same vibes. I definitely want to get in on this. And I got in on the Ben and Jay show. And it has been a very amazing
wild roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it has been a very wild ride, but a very rewarding ride because we're able to touch so many people. And once again, it's just something that you can't put a price tag on. So I just want to, personally, once again, just thank everybody for supporting my individual platform, The Awesome Show, but most importantly, the Ben and Jay Show on a mission and what exactly it speaks for. So it's a little bit about us, not that much, just something to chew on a little bit. But let's just talk about our guest today. It's funny because in the midst of the holidays and everything, Ben was reaching out to get, further guests on the show. Me and this guest, Mr. Eric Williams, we actually did a conference together with Dr. Robert Nassif, Drexel University, which was very good, very successful. Just a couple of brothers, fathers, autism fathers, or I like to call them awesome fathers, just speaking about their feelings, their experiences, what they're going through. Very good feedback. And with that, Ben just reached out and he got an opportunity to speak with Eric and got him on the show. So it's almost like, we never left, we're still here. We're still conversating. So
actually, Jamel, I want to give a special thanks to my behaviorist, John Owens. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for giving me the contact for Eric Williams.
Hey, you gotta respect the man with the same last name as me. Gotta respect the man with the same last name as me. So I like that. So let's speak a little bit about Eric. Now this is a bio. So just let me know if it's not exactly who you are, if it's not enough juice to it, enough meat to it, just let us know, go ahead and insert whatever you can. But the title of this, Rich from Effort and Not by Fortune, which I love this, in 2001, Eric D. Williams Sr., son Elijah, at age 3, which Elijah is now 21, was diagnosed with autism. A loving father, Eric always wanted the best for his child as well. Being new to the autism world, Eric and his family quickly became frustrated with the lack of available autism resources. And we all know this, especially the awesome parents, but especially individuals on the spectrum just like Ben. Eric focused his attention on areas of development that affected Elijah the most and began doing research on autism-related programs. After years of extensive research, Eric discovered there were no such programs that exist in his community. Very, very important. Statewide or nationally, Eric created an after-school survey and distributed it in Elijah's school. Within a few months, the survey has circulated in a few schools, and the overwhelming responses indicated there is a need for such a program. Yes, yes, yes. In 2004, with no knowledge of autism-based programs nor operating a nonprofit organization, my man here, Eric, Mr. Williams, relied on his faith, passion, and motivation. That's what I'm talking about. As a result, Project Elijah Empowering Autism, or PEEA, was founded. PEEA's focus is to provide daily resources to children and families who are faced with autism. With autism spreading at such an alarming rate, it is unacceptable not to have proper facilities for our children. While the experts search for a cure, PEEA began hosting monthly support meetings for families, care providers, and anyone interested in learning about autism. In addition to the support groups, PEEA facilitated monthly arts and crafts workshops, athletics, and local field trips. Currently, PEEA hosts programs and activities for those who are faced with autism on a daily basis in a low to moderate community. Low to moderate meaning limited resources and not financial income. Under the PEEA's umbrella, promoting education, enhancing athletics, parade environment, enriching areas, and people every day enjoying autism with faith, hope, love, and dedication individuals. It says here PEEA will someday be a household name in the autism community, but we're going to scratch that out. It is a household name, and it will continue to be a household name, and it'll probably be on a billboard later on this year. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And welcoming, and give them a warm welcome too, Mr. Eric Williams Sr.
Mr. Williams, thank you so much again for coming on the show. I really, as somebody who's on the spectrum, I really do appreciate what you're doing with your work in the city of Philadelphia. First of all, I would like to thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Williams. Tell us about yourself.
You know what, guys, as listening to you all, and you're thanking me, but really I'm thanking you all. It's such a small world. Ben, when you gave me a call, and I've met you in passing, as I mentioned, several events, but you were such a rock star that I already knew you before you knew me. Mm-hmm. And I understand when you're in your element, you don't mess with anybody that's in their element. So I watched you in conferences, in media, on the Ellen show and all of that. And I just got inspired. So just to share with you how this all came about. Ben, when you called me and you asked me, wanted me to be a guest, I said, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, right? I said, I'll be here.
I love it.
And we just hit it off because I was so excited about that. But backing it up a little bit, Jamil and I ironically were guests, as you mentioned, and we were just talking about it. And I already knew about the Ben and Jay show, so I had to kind of keep the excitement down. But here it is, this guy's talking, Mill, and I was just writing down. You saw me on all our prep calls, and I was just like, I was a fan because I really respect the work that you do, the father that you are, and then how that just carried over to all of the guests. And then when you showed those pictures when you was on Broad Street with your son, I think everybody had a tear in their eye. Yeah, because we could hear the passion in your heart, and we can see your love for just making a difference. That meant the world to me. So I told you
the Super Bowl trophy for the Eagles when they won. Yeah. I was at the ring ceremony.
Well, that was Jamil when he had a picture of his son. But I was there. I was there at that ceremony. I wasn't where you were, but yeah, I was in the distance. So, but no, just I appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah. And then Ben, when you called me, my friend John Owens, we grew up together playing ball, West Philly, Southwest Philly. I always respected John. I coached his son. John and we still had a cool relationship despite us not actually talking. So in my midst of traveling, John called me. I had to take the call. Because when you respect somebody and they're calling, for a reason, you got to be there for them. Again, we haven't spoke probably 30 years or so, maybe in passing, but we communicated with each other years ago, and I locked his number in. So when he called, it was a no-brainer that I had to respond. When he told me about Ben, as John was introducing Ben, I said, that's Ben. I already know Ben. He was like, what?
Ben know everybody. Ben know everybody.
I know him. And then, he said it was okay to give you my number. He gave it to me. It was cool. I'd already knew Jamil. And so this is just like, this is family right here. Family. I appreciate you guys for having
everybody
me.
In our circle is family.
There you go.
That's what Jamel says, and I love that about Jamel. It's like he says about family.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. You hit my bio on the head. I was writing notes, but I remembered that was about me, so I had to stop writing. But yeah, I appreciate the level of respect that we have for mutual respect we have for one another. So of
course,
take it away. You let me know what the dialogue, with the format, and I'm in. So whenever you need me, I'm here.
I love
Appreciate
it.
that. Appreciate that, man. Definitely, you know, the autism community, a lot of people don't understand is that it has the potential to be one of the best relationships that a parent or an individual on the spectrum could actually be in, is because we are in sync in so many different ways than one. And it might, once again, just seem like we're, you know, alone. You know, we don't have anybody else that experiences those things, but we actually do. Now, the disconnect is actually that. It's just a disconnect. Opening up about, you know, being a awesome father or awesome mother or an awesome individual, he or she, him or herself. That's where the disconnect comes in. So, you know, with platforms like this, what you're doing in your community, you're basically allowing people to be comfortable with talking about it and with speaking about it. You know, like we could go more and more into it, but you know, I remember I think this was at the conference and saying that it's funny how we can talk about, you know, sex so openly now, but we're still in the past when it comes to speaking about autism. When you speak that word, it's like, oh no, nobody wants to hear that. Don't say that word. But we can speak about other topics such as what I just gave so openly and free. So I think we need to reverse that. And we need to bring these most important things, these things that are affecting our community to the forefront. And we're doing it. You know, Eric, you're doing it. You know, Brother John, other individuals who may be listening in and sharing in. Ben is doing it. I'm doing it. Everybody out here who's been in the community is doing it. And we need to continue because it's strength in numbers. So as long as we do that, man, we're going to definitely make an impact, not only on our lives, but those individuals too who are out here and feel as though they're not strong enough to actually speak out when it comes to it. So once again, kudos and shout outs to you and everybody who's in this fight. You know, you're definitely not alone. So Ben, you got the first question, brother. Go ahead, take the floor, man.
All right. So what inspires you to work with kids on the spectrum and create your own foundation?
You know, that's the golden question. I think the difference between what I do and what other foundations are, I'm a product of my own environment.
Yeah.
You know, and people get the misconception that because I started this organization and we serve 100 to 400 families around the world now, that I have it good. You know, when the realistic perspective, I'm a parent, just like Jamil, just like the others that's on here that have children on the spectrum. I'm fighting every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just that my fight is a little different because when they see PEEA, they automatically assume that Elijah has the best of the best. Mm-hmm. You know, just to give you a back on Elijah's 22. As far as if I can gauge him, in my opinion, educational wise, where he is on the spectrum, I would say he's about a first grade level. Okay. However, the education part growing up, I had to make a choice to where he had more behavior issues than educational issues. So I decided to go with behavior, figuring if I could get his behavior somewhat manageable, then I can teach the education. Doesn't matter how long it's going to take me. But if I got that under wraps, this would be a good start. It took way longer than what I expected, but now his socialization is so down to earth.
Wow.
His demeanor is so laid back that unless he spoke and did some kind of quirky things, you would never know he had autism.
Wow.
And over the years, him not being to where we would deem successful or able to manage in society, I was okay with him just being where he is, you know, and then not me playing, I got to make excuses as to why he can't read or why he may never have children or he may not be able to drive. Stop making excuses for that to where start really enjoying the impact that he's had on my life, his family life, and everybody that knows him. So that's the difference. And just seeing the fruits of my labor by doing year-round programming, just see families come in. And if I can inspire them to make a difference in their child's life, then my job is done. You know, and PEEA, we always promote judgment-free, safe and nurturing environment, because I think that's something that you have to put out there to the families, because some of them are in denial. Jamil, we talked about this plenty of times, and they may not want to participate in certain programs, get them out in the public eye. But to know that you have a place to where it doesn't even matter what demographic you came from, geographical location, you're here at this one place, and for the duration of our program, you have your free space. Yeah. You know, and that's what makes me keep doing what I'm doing. And we're in our 16th year now.
Wow.
And I think we may have the best year coming. I say that every year, but if I can just impact one family's life other than mine, my job is so rewarding.
There you go. I was just going to piggyback on what you said, Eric, about the reading and driving. You know, basically growing up 3rd and 4th grade, and I said this so many times on my show, school gave up on me and they said, you're never going to read or write. And, you know, God brought me to the right school at the right time, called the Talk Institute in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. And I went from a kindergarten to a 2nd grade reader. And if I didn't know how to read, I would never know how to drive. And I had my driver's license. So it's just amazing how God can use me in many different ways. It's just incredible how he can use me and guide me to the right people. So reading is and this is a quote from Frederick Douglass: when you learn how to read, you're forever free to know how to read.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome.
There you go. Well, you know what, Eric, like just speaking on, you know, I'm going to go into the next question. You know, really, you know, the foundation, what have you guys accomplished so far? So your accolades, but just to go back into what you were actually saying, one point that I would like for people to really understand is that those individuals that are on the spectrum are not that far off from us. What people see is the irrational behavior first, more than anything else. So if we're speaking on irrational behavior, let's call out people who sit there and get angry at people while they're driving, you know, like angry motorists that do, you know, they drive angry, you know, they speed off. Or how about, you know, someone who doesn't hold the door for another individual that's walking in back of them. You know, these are actions which people see on a daily basis. But yet, because these individuals aren't labeled as having autism, you know, we just think it's normal. This is the thinking that a lot of people have to change. Society has to change, is that, you know, we have a medical term to allow us to know that there are individuals like Ben, amazing individuals like Ben, individuals like Elijah, like my son Shane, amazing people in this world that signifies them as having differences. And isn't this phenomenal? This is something that we celebrate. We celebrate differences. But when it comes down to that word autism, though, oh, no, we can't celebrate that. And we need to change that. Us parents, Ben, those individuals who are on the spectrum, we celebrate this. We have to celebrate our uniqueness. Now we have to get the world to be on the same path. Being unique is something that we can all accomplish together. Individuals like Ben have already accomplished this. They came out the womb being unique. You know, they are the biggest blessing and the biggest gift. So we have to now catch up to them because they're already the blessing. We need to get to that path. So I think, once again, just like we were talking, Eric, parents, you know, those individuals that are out there, you know, if you're scared, if you think your child is on the spectrum, if you think there's something quote unquote wrong or not normal with your child, get he or she tested. There is no problem with that. I think the lack of confidence that is within that particular medical mystery, I think we can put medical mystery, because we really don't know where autism is actually formed. We have a theory that is genetic, but I really don't see that. But, you know, we have a theory when it comes down to that. Step up, put your ego to the side, time is of the essence. And haven't we learned that more so this year than any other year, probably in the history, man, that time is very limited. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about that because I'm real passionate about people actually going out there and getting tested, because I was one of those individuals that said, oh, well, he'll be okay. And he is okay. And he's going to be okay, and he's going to do better. But the most important thing was for us to understand his world, what he sees, what he loves, for us to go into his world. And the only way we can do that is when we see it on paper, because we're flawed as a people. We have to see something tangible, So
I was just going to say that you touched on something that really, and I wrote this down. I said, autism is a blessing. Everyone is special.
Of course. That's how we feel. That's how we know. We know because of you. We know because of these individuals, Ben, individuals like you, that, autism is special and it should be treated as such. It shouldn't be treated as a deterrent to introduce ourselves to individuals like you, Ben, to really get to know individuals like you. It shouldn't be like that.
You know what? I like quotes, Jamel. I mean, there's one quote that, we talked about Dr. Stephen Shore. If you meet one person with autism, you meet one person with autism. Mm-hmm. And then I love a lot of quotes. I got to start working up some more quotes for the show. And we should make some more quotes.
You can make some more. There you go. So, Eric,
go ahead.
We're just going off the topic, but we're just chopping it up here. What have you guys been doing over there at the PEEA Foundation? Just paint a picture for the audience exactly what you've been doing, what you're currently doing, and what the future looks like as far as your organization.
Cool, and I'm definitely okay with it being more of a conversation than this, because that's too formal, and that's not what we do. We all have our time to be in front of those folks that we're the proper attire and the verbiage that go with it. So this is, as I mentioned, this is our 16th year. So I started off with no knowledge of working with families with autism or operating a nonprofit. At the time, I was in corporate America, and that was my calling. So I resigned from my position, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take that walk. I'm gonna walk by faith and not by sight. I'm gonna put everything that I have into making a difference in families who are faced with autism. So we started doing support meetings at Sayre, which is now Sayre High School, at 58th and Walnut.
Yep.
I planned for these meetings. Back then, technology wasn't where it is, and I had to do the old-fashioned sign-up. So one time I got probably 200 people sign up, and I went to the principal, and I was like, well, you know what? I can't fit all of these people in the classroom. Let me go to the auditorium.
Yep.
Got all of this food, did all of this other stuff. Got to the gym. To the auditorium. It was probably 3 people. It was myself, it was Elijah, and it was my mom.
Oh, okay.
So, when you're doing things and you get that sense of motivation, that's nothing but a realistic confirmation that you're doing the right thing. But then doing it over and over and over again with it just Elijah, and then my mom pulled me to the side. She was like, don't focus on how many people coming. And Ben, you mentioned a couple scriptures and you referenced God, and the Bible says, forget the 99 and go get the one.
Yep.
So nonetheless, I'm going to be pounding and pouring my passion into my son, if or until somebody else comes. If they do, that's fine. I'm going to be successful, be committed to the life of my son. And then if someone else comes, then I got to be a blessing to them in whatever capacity. So we started doing these monthly meetings. And I had, at the time, I got families that have been with me the entire 16 years of our existence.
Wow.
So they were young. And then as they began to get older, I couldn't do the same things with them, put them in a room while I met with the parents. I had to come up with an idea. So when Elijah turned 9, I looked into Special Olympics. Okay. So I was like, okay, let me get him into this. I didn't know where we were going to start. Signed him up for tennis. At the time, it was Arthur Ashe Center on Ridge Avenue. Okay. Took him to tennis. I was like that fearful parent, the ball going to hit him, the racket, he going to throw the racket out. He's going to run around. He took to tennis like nothing you will ever see.
Nice.
So from there, I went out to Modell's, got him a tennis racket. We've been playing tennis. He plays tennis ever since. So,
wow.
So then now that expanded my mindset to say, okay, while I meet with the parents, I can have the individuals participate in this cool activity. At least I thought it was cool. Tennis is our biggest program that we have.
Wow.
For the 16 years to where the point to where Elijah, he's played in the regionals. And prior to COVID, he was being trained for the world tennis team, the Olympics. So far, he's been really blessed to take on tennis, and it gravitated toward what he was, that being one of his interests. So now that opened my vision up for PEEA. So now I can kind of do it one-stop shopping. I can meet with the parents, care providers, anyone interested, while I have the individuals participate in his activity.
That's really cool.
And then that was year round, started getting some funding just to cover that, the facilities, court rental. So then my passion is basketball. As I mentioned, John and I, we played basketball. So now I went from tennis being during those specific months, and then basketball being fall, winter, early spring.
Yep.
So then now those that didn't want to play tennis, some wanted to play basketball. So then now I will have some come in at a specific time of the year, engaging. But the main thing is the activity, those recreational activities, that was just a draw to get them there. My real focus was talking to the parents, getting them out of denial, letting them know there's places for them, letting them know, like you mentioned something about getting tested. I was on CADRE, the Center for Autism Developmental Research and Epidemiology at Penn. I was on a board just to funnel our community in there.
Wow.
They had an issue with getting into the community, people of color, just the whole autistic demographic. Me, I had an issue with trying to get the professionals, because at the time I was really hungry, which I am now. Let me get with this big organization, University of Penn. I could funnel the participants that you want. And meanwhile, it could be a win-win. That didn't work out, but that was my vision. So from there, I had tennis, basketball, and support meetings.
Yep.
All of it is running at the same time. My numbers were growing. And from there, I just piggybacked off of the things that my families do. So I don't come up with the program. I say, hey, Ben, what are your interests? Hey, Jamil, what would your son Shane like? You know what I mean? And then I would take that and I would find a way to make that a realistic perspective. Nice. Perfect example. 4 years ago, I had a new family, and a kid, he was nonverbal, but every Apple product out there, he knew how to work. Wow. So I went to Apple, had a meeting with my friend Chris at the time. He was a branch manager at 1601 on Walnut Street. So I said, hey, Chris, listen, you know about my program. I need to use some space. He said, whatever you need us to do. We went up on the second floor. We developed a partnership with Apple. We do technology workshops. For this would have been our 4th year this year. But of course, COVID knocked everything out. So to those that don't want to do athletics, then you could do technology. So there were kind of 3 programs that was all like a one-stop shopping. And then from there, we just started bringing on programs. We talked about, you all opened up with some encouraging words about the Capitol. Yes. 3-4 years ago, I took 60 people to the Capitol and the Smithsonian Institute. And we had an unfortunate incident to where one of my families, the kid, he had got away in the Capitol in a rotunda, and he started running. The Capitol police apprehended him and was about to lock him up. And I found out about it as I was getting tickets from my group. We all had PEEA shirts on because I wanted to be uniform. I wanted to be easy identifiable. So they told me, as being a group leader, they already knew we came, because at the time I was heavily in Washington, D.C. area. So we kind of did walkthroughs. If, somebody had, a meltdown, this is where we go. This is our evacuation, like all of these blueprints. And they apprehended the kid. Wow. And I got wind of it, and I went up on a step, and the Capitol Police, he says, well, if you're not his father, you got to go, because I'm going to lock you up and I'm going to tase you in front of everybody. It was probably a couple thousand people in there. Yeah. So from there, I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you lock him up and you tase me, I got 58 people down there with all PEEA shirts. You're going to have to lock us all up. Yeah. So from there, we continued on with our tour. And at the end of it, the Capitol Sergeant, he came to me. He said, excuse me, I want to apologize to you. So I says, well, for what? He says, because of the way we acted. He says, we were never taught that kind of response. We were just taught to get you off the floor, deem it safe, and everybody going about their business. He asked me, will we do training? So currently, I've been working with the government and Capitol Police and all these other things to come out with a PEEA bill. And what the PEEA bill is, that teach first-time responders in government tourist buildings how to respond to individuals with autism. Because my saying, this may be your first case. It's not going to be your last. Because we need to know those things. So we do this spinning around. We do field trips. So we take families locally and out of state.
Wow.
To where we would just have that kind of experience.
I'd love to go on a trip with you guys.
Yeah, it was a very cool trip. And I've been getting some ideas, but of course, COVID put a dampen in that. So that's one of the things we do, the local and out of state field trips. And then I've came up, so from there, I branched into, and all of the programs, they're named PEEA acronyms, and they go off of experience that I have. So Parade Environment Enrichment Area, another branch of PEEA. I got that when I was attending the Eagles Parade. Ironically, I came across a family. They had a child with autism. He was overstimulated. I started singing. I caught eye with him. I started singing, dancing, and doing all these other cool things. And then I went to my friend Derek Green, who has a son, Julian, with autism.
Oh, you know Derek Green. Oh, my word.
So I says, with Derek sitting in his office, I says, are there any specific things that you can do for families with autism / special needs if they want to go to a parade? I mean, you're on the bus riding with the team. That does nothing for me. Exactly. So from there, 2 years ago, I started PEEA. So what that does is, does allow your family with autism to go down to a live parade in a designated area. Designated area meaning just barricaded.
Yeah.
And then we have, I have people donated. Raymore Flanagan donated couches. My crew at Apple, they came down. We had iPads. We had Beats noise cancellation headphones. If the parade environment was too loud for them, we tried that out at the Puerto Rican Day Parade in September. It was amazing. So that was Parade Environment Enrichment Area. Promoting education, enhancing athletic, another avenue of PEEA. We were based out of West Philly at the time, doing programs in Southwest. However, I had families all across the city that couldn't make it there, whether it be time, whether it be lack of transportation and so forth. So rather than them losing out, I would bring the program to them. For a couple of years, we were at Hunting Park Rec Center. So that was kind of the middle of the city. I allowed everybody to come. We've been in South Philly, Southwest Philly, and all over. So that's a mobile service division of, one, bringing a recreational activity to them, and then two, the community resource pilot grassroots program. And then it also covers so many things. We do equestrian lessons. We do, and then lately, since last year, we've been doing PEEA Pals, which is a virtual chat. So being everything in person, I miss my family so much. We started doing virtual. So just as we doing is Zoom, started off with 4 families. Now we get families from all over the world, different time zones. It's just amazing to see. We have one coming up late January. I'll make sure I get you guys.
Yeah, get us that flyer, man.
Yeah.
Yep, I sure will. And then from there, it didn't stop there. So now I have the parents on. Yet again, the individual with the need, they're losing out. I'm talking to the parents and connecting with them. But again, my need is greater. So we created a breakout room. So I have my tennis coach, my golf coach, my other therapist. While I'm meeting with the parents, same philosophy, they're going to a breakout room and they'll do a virtual tennis lesson. We do a virtual, session with Apple. We do all of these other things. Have some speakers come in and make it really, we do a improv drama class. So we do all of these. And then now I'm doing an intake program to where if you needed some kind of special service, you just fill out this intake packet, which I'm gonna post on the website in a few weeks. And then now I'll spend 15 to 30 minutes with your loved one doing a one-on-one. And all you would do is just fill out what their triggers are, what their interests are. I got one kid, he's nonverbal, but he loves technology. I'm doing a program tomorrow, the history of the Sony PlayStation.
Wow.
And I'm just reporting to him via Zoom. That's his area of interest. So I kind of stick to where that is, yet peeling off to where I want them to be.
Exactly.
I was going to say, Eric, are you a big video gamer?
No, not at all.
He
I
said
don't even
not
have,
at all.
not at all. I'm doing so many other things. We working on a cooking show.
Ooh, there you
And
go.
then also, we'll talk about this because I would love to have you guys involved. We're working on a Netflix series talking about autism and a life of where we are. So my friend who's a producer out in LA, we grew up together also
Nice.
from West Philly. We're putting the pilot together. We're in a writing session now. So
Okay.
we're going to do this, but in order to make this work, I'll need everybody because it's not just me.
Actually,
I want to highlight that. I want to highlight Ben and Jamil, my friend John, and all the other families that we come across on the E series. So they're just the tip of the iceberg of where we are and where we're trying to go.
Actually, my parents are on watching right now, so you can talk to them. After,
Sure.
My uncle's watching too. Shout out to my uncle John Canis. Woo!
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I see all of the last names that are, you guys had the last name, so kudos to you. You have such a loving young man, and Ben, same age as my son Elijah, and I just, I glean from that. So as I'm being inspired, you guys inspire me to continue doing what we're doing. But we're all about community, though.
Eric, I just wanted to piggyback on what you said real quick about Special Olympics. So I've done Special Olympics basketball, and I could connect you with them too. But I'm so thankful for them because they gave me my mom and dad went ahead of them to talk about what the financial needs were for me for growing up. So I'm just so thankful that like we could pick their brains and say, how do we do this? How do we do that? Mm-hmm. So they know how to do that stuff. So shout out to people at Special Olympics. You guys are the best.
Absolutely. I coached Special Olympics basketball for 9 years.
Wow.
Nice.
Do you know Sean
again,
Hanley?
Elijah, what was that?
Do you know Sean Hanley?
Yes.
Okay, because I used to play with the Titans.
Okay, yep. And Elijah, currently he does tennis, basketball, and bowling for Special Olympics.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that we can definitely expand on that conversation.
Wow.
Yeah, because I would love to get the Titans. I would love to see if we can get like a game sometime. Like I would love to see if we get the Titans to come down and
was pretty dope. You guys are just like, you and Ben are just talking, you're conversating about, the programs that you've done, which and the resume speaks for itself. It's simply amazing. And it's funny too. My son loves basketball. Shane loves basketball. He's actually pretty good. He's pretty awesome at basketball. He has a wicked J. I don't know where he gets it from. Actually,
I got
the arm. I got a nice little 3-pointer. I got a nice little 3-pointer when I want to, but he enjoys basketball. Couple of points that you did point out. The first thing is that me and Ben it's amazing. We started speaking to law enforcement up here around Montgomery County. We're continuing to really coach them about interacting with individuals on the spectrum and also to their parents, what to look out for. Because these officers are not getting trained on this, it is vital. Myself, I actually was looking at a shelter-in-place program for individuals that are on the autism spectrum, which I have looked, and there's not too many that are in place. I had the opportunity to write a shelter-in-place strategic format to place me into employment for a previous employer. So I'm using basically my knowledge and what I researched to actually put one up for an individual that's on the spectrum as well. So we can all conversate about that. But the most important thing that I got out of this, and once again, I'm going to keep on hammering this because I've noticed this and I continue to notice this as the demographic of parents change. And what I mean by that is we're not talking specifically about color, but we're talking more so about age. We're talking more so about community, where these individuals live, when they're having children, and those children are being diagnosed with autism. Now the grasp, that keen attention is changing, and is going to continue to change. The programs that you're doing, the innovative programs, what you're doing is saying, hey, come here trust me to have your kid entertained and interactive, something educational that they can pull away from it. But let me talk to you and get to the meat of exactly what's going on is what we actually need to do. Things just like, collaborating with the Capitol Police down there. These are things that we need to do. Also, too, shout out to Officer Burke, Philadelphia Police Department. I had the opportunity to speak to in reference to training, which they're doing a national a survey for law enforcement and those individuals that are on the spectrum and other disabilities because they see the need of it. I like that. So now they're getting the picture. Black and brown communities, you need to step up. It's a lack of, and I'm not pointing the finger, but yet I'm pointing the finger because we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. We need to talk out more. We need to seek more help, and not put that wall out. So I just wanted to put in my 2 cents about that. Is so many things to unpack about your organization. You guys are 16 years strong. You're doing so many different things in the community. And it's time for people to say, hey, I don't know where the services are. I can't find anything. And the services are here with individuals such as yourself. It's just really about taking that leap of faith, that step out and saying, hey, you know what? I need help. My family needs help. My boy or my daughter, they need help. Can you help us? So once again, shout out to you, your organization, all the different people that you coincide with to make things like this. And the documentary, the Netflix thing, woo, fire. Listen, I can't wait, Brian, because that's a different aspect that a lot of people are not understanding. You have tiers that I like to call them. You have, corporate America who deals with autism. Thank you. I love that. But we need to speak to the individuals that get up, wipe the crust out their eyes every single day, who sit there and look up at the ceiling as they get up and just ask God for the strength in order to prepare for that day. That's the story we need to see. That's the untold story that the entire world needs to see because there are people like that in the entire world. So it definitely is a dope thing. You know what, Eric, we got so much to unpack with this, but we want our audience to have an opportunity to talk to you as far as questions. So
is that okay, Jamel? Because I was I want our audience to ask some questions.
No, that's fine. Because Eric got a lot to unpack here, a lot of opportunity to explain this program. So we're going to open up the floor at this time for the audience members to ask questions. For Eric, we just ask once again, you know the rules. If you've been a part of the show, just be kind to each other, be respectful. Go ahead. We're going to unmute everybody. And you can go ahead and ask away. And we welcome any type of questions. There's no dumb questions here. So questions, comments, concerns, anything that you have to say.
The only dumb question is when you don't ask what you really
exactly.
You turn on your video too. Everybody can turn on their video if you want to.
Exactly. So the floor is open. You can go ahead.
Hi, Eric. My name's Sandy. I'm Ben's mom. That's my real name. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to really tell you what an inspiration it is for you to see how you've taken everything that you already needed to do for your son, but you didn't just leave it there. You took it to so many other families, and that is a huge, huge blessing. I was curious, what do you think the biggest impediment with the COVID is? I know we can't get together, but are you seeing anxiety increasing? Any other kind of things that are happening with the COVID?
Yeah, I think the anxiety is premium. From having your normal lifestyle. Like, for example, Elijah, he just started working at Powerback Rehabilitation Center around by 16th and Lombard. He was working at housekeeping, first ever job.
Okay.
And Elijah is so routine, and he doesn't understand what COVID is. COVID is, all he knows is I can't go outside and I can't go to work. However, his daily regimen, Elijah, he's been let go probably since May, but he gets up every day, takes a shower at 6 o'clock, puts his clothes on and sits by the door and then to go find something else to do. So just that part of it, his anxiety may be mild, but I have families to where the parents are either teleworking or have to go in and find other means, and they're just becoming overwhelming about they want it when they want it. And don't, those that understand COVID, the mindset when you're fixated on what you want goes out the window.
Yeah.
So everything else, the anxiety is at a all-time high. I've been in meetings to where parents wanted to put them on prescription drugs just to calm them down, so forth, and asked me for counseling. And I was like, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I can tell you something outside of that, but that part I really don't dib and dab in. You just gotta do what's best for your family. Not saying, I'm pro this or pro that, but you just gotta let really God direct your path and see what's best. So the anxiety part, you just gotta find creative ways to how to get around that if you can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thanks, Mom.
Next question. Got it open for the floor for you.
Hi, this is Glenn. Glenn's dad.
Hey.
So, I heard a lot about faith and you jumped on what Ben, his faith is a big part of his life and a part of our family. One of the things that we saw, and it sounds like Elijah is the same age as Ben. He'll be 23 next in May. And we found that church was really hard, especially early on. Mm-hmm. Are you looking at any kind of programs through the PEEA organization and those kind of things along the church base? Because what we found was church didn't understand. It's kind of like, Jamel, what you were saying, people don't understand, but also the church doesn't understand. And what we found was we weren't able to actually necessarily go to church, or people with special needs, children don't go to church because they're a distraction or whatever that is, and it starts becoming hard. So I just thought I would throw that out when I'm hearing those kind of, just wanted to see if you guys were doing anything or any thoughts on that.
I'm gleaming inside because you struck something, again, part of my passion. So to answer your question, yes, I'm actually working on a pilot. I'm calling it Alternative Learning Ministries. And the church that I go to, I'll share that name with you during this conversation. And I'm in fact in my office now. That most of my families that are involved in PEEA, I had them come to my church. And just to experience what that is. Like, I have 3 members with autism, and one, he just gets up in the middle of the service and he'll walk right down the aisle all the way up to the pew. And beforehand, because I'm overseeing the leaders, of the media ministry and the children's ministry at my church. However, everybody knows Elijah. Okay. So when he walked up, our security, they came up and whatever, and I had to talk to the pastor, and I was like, they have to be allowed in here. Yeah. They have to have their space, whether their parents feel like they want to sit in the sanctuary, our overflow room, our vestibule, because I put monitors everywhere here. Yeah. So there's no reason why a family with special needs cannot come and worship in our church. And if you come here one day, my trade is technology, so I do installs. So I put TVs and screens and everything everywhere. So if you're in the sanctuary, it's overwhelming. You can go out to the vestibule. I got a one-on conference room. Like, I put all of these amenities in there, and then I trained our church. I literally told them about what this is and how we handle this. So now if they walk up, they're not a threat. They're an individual just like us. And the way that our church has gravitated toward that to allow them that free space. And I wanted to take it a step further to where, like I said, Elijah, his educational, so he couldn't read the Bible. However, there's another way that I've been teaching Elijah. But then in the other instance, Ben can read the Bible because he can read, but they all need to be not necessarily together in the same room, but they need to be in church. Right. You know what I mean? So whatever that space is, I created a safe space here, like all my peer programs, to where Ben could sit in the sanctuary, the other kid couldn't. The other kid may need a conference room. Another family may be in a vestibule room. vestibule area. However, it's judgment free, it's safe and nurturing, and everybody will love what we do around here. I'll share that information with you. But it's all called alternative learning. And I'm probably on chapter 2. I just getting bogged down with so many requests now. Everything is virtual. And then now that we do virtual, so we do a Sunday school, a Sunday at 8:30. Nice. You guys can welcome to come on there. And if there's a loved one with a special need, I created a special breakout room for them to where I have a teacher there, and we would just do interactive activities around that, teaching them God. You know, our thing is love God, hate sin, and love to give. And then love, peace, and joy, and so, those kind of things. So we kind of make it, you know, a 101 approach, not overwhelming them. I guess the message, but I'm creating those kind of avenues for us to have a place no matter where we go.
Real quick, Eric, you brought up something really cool. I have a friend here. Her name is Kim Miller, and they have a program called See Jesus, and they have a daughter with autism. Her name is Jill is the mom, and Kim is the daughter, and Kim has autism, and they did this program. It's a special needs Bible study. It's really cool, and it's actually really interesting. Is they do like different stories. They actually read the Bible, and then they do a picture drawing and do videos. So it's just really cool. I would love to be connected with that ministry as well. There's a lot of special needs ministries out there. And then our church, Calvary Souderton, which I'm very blessed about, they have a special needs ministry. That's why we went there, is because they started a ministry called Bridge, and they pull out the spirits, and God lead us in there because they started a special needs ministry. And that's what the church foundation is all about. It's about special needs. And that's why I really love going there. Like the old church that I went to, they didn't have a special needs ministry. But Calvary, I really love because they have poured out their spirit and talk about a special needs ministry.
That's awesome. So one of the things we're seeing, and I think you guys kind of touched upon it, Jamel, you were saying, you know, your son is 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. Elijah's 22, Ben's 22. Mm-hmm. We're seeing that older generation, that older age moving up. And what do you do with them for the social piece? School is a big social piece for them. So like your events and your things that you do is huge with that. So I appreciate that, Elijah. And I guess the other question I had for you was, before I'm looking at a note I wrote down here. If you didn't say the website, because I came on a little, I'm actually on your website. It's PEEA.org.
That's correct.
People want to go out and see that. So before I forget that, but do you have an age range of, where you're looking at folks?
My youngest is 4. My oldest is 53.
Okay.
And what I do, I break the groups up into age and ability appropriate activities. So I wouldn't put a 4-year-old with a 54-year-old, 53-year-old, even if they was on the same educational range, I would still make that a different experience for them. Mm-hmm. So we break them out. The thing is just getting a consistent group to where we can say, if I know I'm having like basketball, tennis, my average is 30 participants. So within that 30, I already know who's coming. And then I break my coaching staff up so they can take care on, different groups. We come together, we break them out. We come together, we do one-on-one. We come together and break them out and so forth. But I don't have a cutoff.
Right. Okay. I mean, again, you're absolutely right. The age appropriateness you have to do, right. A 10-year-old to a 50-year-old, even though mentally maybe they're the same, it's just physically, different. And then one final question, more on a personal note on you. Do you have other kids? And the reason I ask that, Ben has 2 older siblings, so he's always looking to try to do what they're doing, and actually I believe his having autism actually gave them a better life, because they said, hey, there's somebody on special needs. I mean, I've heard stories where, our kids just will go over and talk to people. I know growing up, if I saw somebody with like Down syndrome or something, I'm like, oh, I'm backing up. Like I never had that experience. So I was just curious about you more on a personal, note about, family and that kind of stuff.
Sure. I have 6 children, and Elijah is in the middle. So he's the third out of 6. So, I done an interview years ago. So if you go on the PEEA website, I think it was an interview with Natasha Brown or Yuki Washington, one of them. And I said that I think the reason why I say that, because Elijah gets to be a younger brother to my older 2 sons. And then he gets to be a big brother to his younger 3, and then when we all come together, they know Elijah has autism, not my 5 and 6-year-old. But the others do. In fact, my daughter asked today, when I have her kindergarten math book, and she says, well, Daddy, we don't need this anymore. Can we give it to Elijah? And we can help Elijah work on this part of it.
There you go.
And I was like, wow, that's like,
Wow.
that almost brought tears to my eyes. The fact that because of where we are and how we started this journey, and they're being so young, that they're even grasping the fact that Elijah needs family. So Elijah's right in the middle of that, and you couldn't tell Elijah he wasn't the boss of all of them.
Hey, Dad, real quick, do you want to talk about Dan, what he does with me?
Dan is that's our middle son, and Dan works with adults on the autism spectrum. He is, for the lack of term, a caregiver, but basically helps them with, their socialization, and he is, he'll take them out to, he has one client that loves to go to thrift stores. Okay. And so he'll take them out, drive them around, and, whether he buys stuff or not, he just likes to look and those kind of things. Another one that loves video kind of stuff. So he works through some goals that they have, and he's working with Ben now too. So, nice. Just to help him with that social pieces and those kind of things. So, that's stuff that you can't, like you said, your daughter, you can't teach that kind of stuff. You're like, where did that come from? Yeah. Well, they see you, they see their brothers, they see other people, and that interaction is great.
Yeah, and I see Angela Foster just joined, and Angela has been a faithful family within the PEEA organization for years. And her son Daniel, I've watched Daniel from a young child. I think Daniel is probably 11 or 12 now. And he can tell you every route on SEPTA.
That's my man.
And I just, and the thing is, and I'm glad you can join us, Angela, but when you come to PEEA, I'm just the meet and greeter. The way you get to PEEA is talk to the families.
Yeah.
Because I can talk about PEEA till I'm blue in the face. And then, I'm not a people person. But when I'm talking about this part of it, I can talk to you all day long. And I travel the country talking to people about, you have to understand that where you are is important, you're sufficient, and you're necessary to your loved one's development and where they are in life and how they go. In fact, right before COVID, I was in Compton, California at the Martin Luther King Hospital. Their autism community is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because you would, think Compton, California, and all that you hear about it in the media, but they're so connected in the autism community.
They are.
And then almost coming back here, it was very humbling. Yeah. So I'm trying to bridge the West Coast to the East Coast. That's and right. Every little part in between, every family that's going on. PEEA has a growing support of 39 cities, 18 countries that all want the same PEEA program. However, I tell them all right from my commitment is to my families here in my local area.
Yeah.
I would never expand until I feel like the time to where God said, you move on to the next journey, Philadelphia is taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm committed. So if PEEA never grows in number or we max out in numbers, this is where I'm going to be until I write the next chapter of, you know, where we go from here. But
Jamel, Alyssa wants to ask a question, if that's okay.
Okay. Miss Foster, did you have anything to say? Because I remember Eric was introducing you. So let's let Miss Foster ask something real quick, and then we'll get Alyssa on here. So you got the floor.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Usually I'm very long-winded when it comes to PEEA and being advocates for special needs children across the board, children, teens, as well as adults. I can't speak enough about what Eric has brought to my life and Daniel's life. You know, I'm always plugging PEEA across the board. I'm always plugging them and trying to reach out more to the community, especially in West Philly.
Yeah.
You have, in Philly, there is like well over 60,000 children with some type of special needs, and it's really sad, you know. So I continually advocate because of my son Daniel, who has multiple diagnoses, and including myself, who has a span of 44 years of special needs. So I you know, like I always tell Eric, there's no reason why any of the children in Philly should be going through any of the stuff that they're going through, mentally, physically, especially educational wise. Yeah. Because this is not the 70s or the 80s. So there's no reason. So like I said, I am 110% behind Eric, and he knows that, for what he's trying to do for so many children and so many families. You know, I humbly appreciate everything that he has done for me and Daniel.
Facts. We appreciate your words, Ms. Foster. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, everybody. You know, you can't go by what E say, can't go what I say, you know, can't go what Ben say. Ben is talking about his own experience. Ms. Foster's talking about hers. Eric's talking about his. But it's people like you, Ms. Foster, like, who are getting on here, and somebody tangible that we can actually see to say, yo, like, he's out here getting it. He's out here doing it. And it's easy. You want to come along, you want to join this ride, you want to join this train, you want to join this family, it's easy. Just come and show up and just have an open heart. And I think people are always looking for that gimmick. Like, what's the gimmick? What else is there? Like, it ain't nothing but just love and feeling. And people have to realize that, especially when it comes to, you know, just special needs in general, is love. There's no gimmicks to it.
And Angela, you know, like with my families, I never want anybody to go without. So I live way out in the Northeast, and Angela will tell you, I drive over to Overbrook, West Philly, Southwest Philly, pick families up, take them and drop them off. And I don't do gas money. I don't do gratuity. I don't do none of that. The joy that I get is just to seeing them there.
Look, I'm a witness to that. I've been, and it's hard to believe that it's been 9 years, Eric, because we, Daniel and Elijah share the same pediatrician. So Dr. Pullen introduced me to you when Daniel was 4.
Yeah.
So, and he's 13 now. He just turned 13. So it's been 9 years.
Wow.
It's been 9 years. Hard to believe.
Wow.
You know, really hard to believe. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
There you go. Well, we want to thank you, Ms. Foster, for your words.
Thank you, Ms. Foster.
You know, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for speaking on your experience with Eric. You know, stay close to us. Stay more close to Eric. You know, most importantly,
definitely.
You know,
we have a long road ahead of us. Yeah, I'm anywhere. You know,
There you go. Now you got two more members of your family. You got me and you got Ben. So
Yes, sir.
welcome to the family. So we're happy to have you, but thank you for being on here. We want to get Alyssa her question, Eric, because she definitely wants to speak to you. Alyssa?
All right, so Eric, I'm interested in this series. I want to be a part of it. Like, can you explain more about the series to me? Yeah, like, or was it on E? I don't know. I didn't hear much about it.
Yeah, unfortunately. So two things, right? So since we're still in the writing phase of it, I can't give the information out. However, I can assure that everybody on this screen will be involved in some capacity.
There you go.
So we're just working out the formalities. We were supposed to have everything inked last month, but
COVID.
So pushed us back. So I had to recreate how I wanted to go. Originally, I can't tell you this. Originally, it was going to be one show, but when we pitched it as an E series. So we'll have season 1, season 2, season 3, and so forth. So I'm just formulating which ones go first. And then so forth. So we'll start off with probably, I think a 5 to 7 episode, the season 1. And then I'm going to touch on a range of topics. So at that point, depending on what the topics that I'm still writing, we'll figure out who goes where, who could be integral. Thinking of Ben and Jamil as my narrators. So an awesome story. Again, I don't want anybody to hear from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, this is, I don't want them to say, well, yeah, he's pushing his passion because of we are on this kind of outlet.
Exactly.
Just the same way PEEA was full scale when Angela spoke. That's the kind of impact that I want to have.
Facts.
Where everybody else is speaking, not about PEEA, but about what your life is like coping with, things that are important to you. So, but I will share at another time. Another time, yeah, because with that, disclaimers, waivers, legal things, I just can't give that part away. Wish I could because I want to, but if I want to program, I gotta keep it under the wraps for a little bit.
Exactly. And Alyssa, you could always follow Eric too on social media. He has his pages, so like he said, he's going to keep in touch, but definitely you can keep in touch as well. So that will be something we're all looking forward to. Just to get that out. But I know you have something else, Alyssa.
Yeah, I actually had another question.
Sure.
What services do you provide for PEEA, if I'm getting that right? Like what activities, what, I know you do meetings and stuff too. So I just want to know what you do and how I can be a part of it.
So now we're doing everything. Great question. So now we're doing everything virtual. So we do tennis, golf, and social distance drones when the weather break. We started those last year. Drones and golf has been
amazing.
Is amazing. Amazing. Not only do we learn to part of just talking about the drones flying, but we're doing building. We're doing get your licensing that, because our program will take you from step A, if you just want to be a recreational flyer, to golf mapping of golf courses, which we already started, to building, to photography, to job placement, to advertisement, like you name it. We're putting everything in place as we speak. We got a program that we're working with SEPTA, thanks to Angela, to where we're going to map out some specific routes, how to get to A and B, and then SEPTA's transportation assistance program, to where if you wanted to come to PEEA, and just using Daniel, and if Daniel wanted to catch the bus, then someone from our program will come as a travel coach and travel with you
Wow.
to the site and back.
Yes.
And then we're mapping drone specific locations, technology to where you would use your app. We can tell the families can tell where you are at any given point. We're doing virtual to where the facilitators, you can see them at the site. Very interactive.
Nice.
So there's just some of the things that we're doing for 2021. John, we're working on a basketball program.
Okay.
A bigger vision that I've had. We're currently looking at a 9-acre facility to be built ground up in the West Philadelphia area.
Okay.
I've been working on this probably about 5 years now.
Wow.
I have some integral and potential investors that I'm going to be meeting with the first quarter. A friend of mine, Kenny Holtzman, he's with Philly Youth Basketball.
Okay.
He just got a place in the Hunting Park section to where he has a property built.
Okay.
So there's a potential for us to merge with that.
Nice.
And then also spin off and have our own one-stop shopping program to where everything that I mentioned will be housed in our own facility. Yeah.
Oh.
So, but just follow me. I got a podcast coming up the end of this month, moving into February. We're going to be streaming on all kind of media platforms. The goal is to keep us connected. And then also for my out-of-state investors, I want them to know that we're active in what we're doing.
There you go.
You know.
Good.
Yeah, I wanted to say one final thing.
Sure.
I just wanted to say thank you, Ben, Jamal, and Kaylee, for making me be a part of your family, the Ben J. Show family. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. And if you want to check me out on the Ben J. Show, it's on YouTube. It's the Ben J. Show featuring Alyssa Russick. If you want to check that out, Eric, and you'll know a lot more about me, you can check that out.
Alyssa is amazing.
Yes, she is.
Thank you so much, guys.
You on with Ben and Jamil, so I know you're amazing already. So I definitely take a look at it. Oh, it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I deserve that.
Can I chime in real quick?
Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, I can't show my face. I'm in the dark room, so even if I did, you wouldn't see me. But I've been here from the start, so I want to thank you guys, especially Ben, for inviting me. And Jamil, he's always talking about you, so I feel like we know each other already.
I know, man. We got the same last name, so
I'm really like swelled up right now because, as Eric said, we go back 30 years, man.
Wow.
And not only did we play basketball with each other, my brother worked with his brother. So we always were intertwined or somehow had some communication between the two of us. So I want to make a quick announcement here. Eric did touch on that my organization, I have a nonprofit organization called Best Athletic Association, or the acronym is BAA for short. We've been existing for 7 years.
Wow.
And we do a lot of educational and athletic stuff with kids in the community. So meeting Ben really opened my eyes to autism. I've been in human services for over 20 years, and I've worked with clients on the spectrum before, but never at a high as where Ben is. So it really Ben can tell you, when we first met, I was like, this got to be a godsend here, man. Like we talked, we gave each other so many compliments, and we were like glad we met. And because of him, I reached out to Eric, and Eric and I talked, and now we're talking about partner up. So it's going to bring autism to BAA and BAA to autism. It's going to open up a whole division of autism under my umbrella. Nice. And I offered Ben to be the face of BAA for autism. So it's going to be a great partnership, man. It's going to open up. This is going to open up a lot for the city of Philadelphia. So I'm really encouraged.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, making these connections. I feel that. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your commitment, man, your passion and everything. Once again,
and Andrew, I wanted to say you're amazing too. Andrew. You're amazing.
Ben, you the man, man.
Now, how come I being the man if you're the man, Jamel?
I'm not the man. I'm not the man. Hey, John, like you got to understand, like, you know, fathers like me that just came to that realization one day, and I was just like, yo, man, enough is enough. I'm not going to let, you know, my son be unheard anymore. You know, I'm going to like really put myself out there, and I can't even really tell you what was going through my mind. I can just tell you that I was still going through my anger, my disposition of what autism meant in my life as a man. And I turned that and I used that to really just put him on a pedestal to show how I seen him. And that was the beauty in my son. And as I started to do that more and more, I started to really realize he was really like, you know, pouring into me. And then I got a chance to meet people like Ben and other individuals who are on the spectrum and other parents. And I'm like, yo, this is an untapped form of love that people are missing in this world. And it's so much like, once again, you know, we talk about our faith and everything, and people, you know, they really make it harder for themselves to come towards God, and God is just asking for you just to open your heart. And these are the same thing that these awesome individuals like Ben and my son, Elijah, and everybody out here is just asking is for you to open your heart, like have a conversation. I don't know how many people did not cry when they seen Forrest Gump, or didn't cry when they seen Rain Man. And those are the things, those are the examples of our awesome individuals, you know, back in that day. But the platform hasn't changed. The blueprint hasn't changed. They still have the same heart, the same mechanism to want to learn about people and really just make sure that they're being taken care of. So I say that to say this is John, you inspire me. I'm sure Eric can say the same thing, and it's vice versa. We can go back and forth every single day. But it is most important as men, as we continue to sit there and push forward, so other men will sit there and say, you know what, I enough is enough. You know, I got to speak out too, and stop letting somebody else do the dirty work for them. So I appreciate you, brother. Hopefully, you know, we can stay in contact too in the midst of this. And I would love to, you know, just help and support you guys on anything that you guys are doing. You know that. But definitely a pleasure to meet you. Definitely a pleasure. I think Ben, we're pretty much we're over, and it's dope. I like this because it's just like we just sat down, everybody family, we just chopping it up like, yo, how's everybody doing and everything.
Jamil, real quick, that incident that I talked about, the Capitol, Angela and Daniel were there.
Oh wow,
they were there.
Okay,
yes,
that's crazy.
They were there, like looking at me in the middle of Capitol Police.
That's crazy, man. And this is the reason why. I mean, I'm ex-law enforcement. I know what it is. And I know we didn't get training on that. And like I said previously before, I think back about how many individuals I came across to in prison that might have been on the spectrum, but I just didn't see that because I'm trained in my training to only see what it says on that sheet, that rap sheet, or what I know what they're in for, or how I know their character to be, but I didn't know who that person was. So, you know, that's a whole different conversation, a much needed conversation. But me and Ben, you guys, everybody, we continue to love on these officers and try to give them, you know, some tools on their tool belt to help be better, you know, servants of the community, because that's practically what they are. They're servants of the community.
Can I say something? I would like to say when you're a heart raft, you're always a heart raft. So if you're part of our family, you're a part of our family.
You're definitely in the family.
That's what it's all about. That's what my aunts would love to meet everybody. Oh my gosh. I talk about you guys all the time. My aunts, I'm actually going to see them tomorrow. But we have a winner for the Texas Roadhouse. Oh my gosh. Owen's Hightower just won. Owen.
My sister.
That's your sister?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yo, listen.
Can I piggyback real quick? So I want to add to her. My sister Edie is in charge of a community-based program in Southwest Philly area, but in King Sessing. So I was talking to her about Ben, about E, and she I sent her the link, so she's been on, and actually King Sesson has a few things going on there. So we're going to talk about that later on and kind of piggyback and partner up too. So again, like you said, man, talk about it, open the doors up, and let's connect and keep growing, man.
Exactly. That's what's up, man. Yeah, we definitely going to keep in contact. Like I said, I'm gonna put my page up on
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead. We have plenty of time. Go ahead. That's okay, Kate. I don't want to take up tonight.
No, I just wanted to say, so one of the things, I used to work at Elwyn.
Okay.
Well, if anybody knows about Elwyn, I used to work there as a parent partner. And parent partners were basically, back in the day, they were basically a group of parents who all have special needs children. And we just all were taught, educated on becoming advocates for our kids and other families like ourselves. So one of the things, we did a lot of outreach events.
Okay.
So with Parent Partner, it was a very diverse group of folks, Asian, Latino, Black, white, you name it. So one of the things that I discovered in one of the outreaches is this application is from dispatch, from police dispatch.
Yeah.
So what you basically do, you fill out this application, and give all your personal information, medical, diagnosis, everything, and then you submit it back to dispatch, and you renew it every year. So if there's an emergency of any case, shape, or form, which you can, the first responders or whomever, police, they already know ahead of time. The EMTs will already know ahead of time what to do.
Exactly, because it comes up on the screen. Yep.
Right. So that's really good to have, because now the police know when they're dealing with certain individuals, they already know ahead of time that, this child is autistic. So your approach should be completely different. Now, if it's not different, then you have a serious issue on your hands.
Yep. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, and the thing is that came up several times when the police attacked certain individuals, and they were on this.
That's crazy. That's what we need. Definitely, we're going to keep that on tap. We're going to keep that rolling, because that's definitely something that's needed. Thank you, Ms. Foster.
I really encourage every parent to do that.
Yep. Get it in the system. Get it in the system.
Get it in the system. That's your protection.
Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I intervene?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, I'm John's sister. I'm John's big sister. He's a big.
Big sister. Hi.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I just wanted to say thank y'all for inviting me and to my brother to be part of such a glorious conversation. This is awesome. And it's like opening my eyes up to a lot that I was unaware of. Most of the time I have a lot to say, but this is my first time being a part of this type of conversation. So I'm just taking in a lot, and it's so overwhelmingly beautiful. And despite of everything that's happening in the world today, this conversation beats it all.
Yeah.
This is top notch. Eric, you're awesome. Jamil, you're awesome. Ben, you're awesome. Your parents and everybody for being on here and expressing everything in an entity from young children to older adults that you guys are intertwining with and doing things for. That is so beautiful. I'm humbled just to be a part of the conversation, and I'm more humbled to be the winner. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy that. You deserve that.
Take me with it.
Enjoy that. You deserve that. Well, thank you, everybody.
You're more than welcome.
With everything going on, this is definitely a good experience for smiles and laughs and such times that's going on in the world. We appreciate you guys. So shout out to Miss Owens Hightower. I'm going to say both hyphenated last names for winning that prize. We're going to get with you via email to send that out to you. And if you would like to support what we do here with Access Services, reach out to us, www.accessservices.org/donate. And you can follow us. We put our show pages on the chat, the Awesome Show and the Ben and Jay Show. Please follow us, support. We will do the same back. Ben, we normally do words of encouragement, so I'm going to let Ben go ahead first because he wanted to make sure that everybody
I just wanted to say, a lot of things happened this week in D.C., and we just wanted to let people know that prayer is a powerful thing. Mm-hmm. And, if we don't pray, we don't know how we can get there in life. So I was just going to say, how can we go through this week and what happened? Pray about it. Mm-hmm. God is there with you. And I just have a quick verse that I saw on Facebook the other day. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive them their sins, and I will heal their land. Now my eyes will be open and my ears attentive to their prayers, often in this place. 2 Chronicles 7:14-15.
Amen.
Good job, man.
Amen. One more thing, if I can, just because Ben, like I said, you're awesome, and I haven't had the chance to meet you face to face. But speaking of prayer, it's been in my heart since the end of the year to do prayer. So I started a prayer in our community on New Year's Day. Every 2 weeks, we pick a different community where we all go out and we have prayer. So I don't have the flyer or anything on me right now to add it onto this link, but I'm definitely going to share it with you all because our next prayer is next Friday. And every 2 weeks throughout this year, we will be in a different community in Philadelphia praying. That's what we do.
Send it. Let's get it.
Okay.
Send it.
All right.
Yes,
I'm going to send it to everybody.
Definitely. Well,
Okay.
guys, the opinions expressed on the Ben and Jay Show pertaining to individual perspectives and do not necessarily represent the stance of Access Service Incorporated and its affiliates. So I normally put that because I'm about to get deep with you guys, but it's not going to be too deep. It's just going to be something just to wet your whistle a little bit, go into the weekend and next week, hopefully, and try to reflect on this. This week has been very stressful for me. Of a lot of reasons, what's going on in this world, personally, just outlook at different things. Me personally, there is no reason why the flag of the state, because I'm not going to say united, should actually be at its highest form. I encourage everybody who is under the notion of the United States of America that this flag should be a half staff, because we have killed the united part of the States of America. Mm-hmm. We are not united right now. There is nothing to celebrate when it comes down to that flag. And when did we put God before such an object like a flag or other things? We mention him on the money. We mention him in our songs. We mention in our salute. And it's more and more evident that he's so far away from what we actually mean when we say those words. So if you do have a flag, if you see this, put it at half staff until we can get this right. And what I mean is together as God's children, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
When we get that right, let's put those flags back up and let's start.
Amen.
Yes.
There's no reason. There's no reason. So just want to let y'all go with that. We love you guys.
I got one really quick, just some words of encouragement. Thank you all again.
Go ahead.
Live above what you're going through. Don't let the world dictate how you foresee what's taking place, knowing that you have a comforter on the inside. Hebrews 13:16. Do not neglect to do good. Such sacrifices are pleasing to God. All your sacrifices, just being on this, taking time out your busy schedule. Somebody could be glorified out of this. You could take these back, as John's sister mentioned, sorry, I forgot your name, to the community center and all of the walks of life that we encounter throughout our daily journey. We could be a blessing to somebody. And I'll leave with this. So I always like to do one quote that encourages me. And this is by Dr. Cornell West, which I found out we have the same birthday. Oh. But his quote is, you can't save the people if you don't serve the people. Wow. No, you can't love the people if you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people.
Wow.
So I think that's such a powerful yet simplified approach. And that's my inspiration to continue in this endeavor with PEEA. And I'm so looking forward to collaborating or co-laboring, shall I say, with each and every one of you to get what our voices, to get our thoughts, to get what we put down on pen and paper, to make that a household name. So I appreciate it. Whenever any one of you need me, don't hesitate.
Oh.
So thank you again.
And
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. That was some words.
Angels. Everybody's an angel. Everybody's
an angel. Let's eat that. Listen, we love you guys. The Ben and Jay Show. We are out. Stay tuned. We got another episode coming to you. This is how we do. We love when you guys. We love y'all guys.
Love you guys.
Have a blessed night.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night.